Hello, I'm Richard Vobes. I'm the Bald Explorer out on another walk, and with me is Martin Snow. Hello, Martin.
Hello.
And down on the floor, which you can't see, is little Lola, who may give us some jip in today's walk. Little Lola is a Dachshund, and she's my partner's. Anyway, Martin, we're standing in Worthing in West Sussex at the bottom of Heen Road for reasons of which I'm not 100% sure, but then I never am on one of our rambles. Why?
This is the starting point of a twitten. A twitten is a Sussex word for a narrow footpath, often between walls in towns or between bushes, but basically it's only a narrow footpath.
Right, okay. So, and this is a particularly interesting one, is it?
Well, I think so.
Good.
But I think everything's interesting.
Well, shall we walk and talk?
Yeah.
Come on, Lola.
Get away from the traffic.
That's right.
That's it.
So we're going to go north up towards Tarring. Is that the idea?
That's right. Yes. The footpath's a very old and established footpath that went from, depending on which way you were going, went from the church to down to Heen. There used to be there was a medieval chapel at Heen.
Now, Heen is down by the coast, isn't it? We should just tell people, because they won't know the geography of the land. Worthing's by the sea. Heen is a small district now of Worthing, but
yes.
it was a district in its own right, wasn't it?
It was a parish on its own.
Yeah. And what sort of time are we talking about? The original beginnings use of this? Hang on, there's somebody coming. This pathway, then.
Well, I'm not sure the exact starting time.
I mean, roughly.
We're probably talking post-Saxon. Or,
right. Okay. So from
possibly that far.
Yeah. So quite some distance. All right. Now, in order to get to the next bit, we have to cross. I don't know whether the viewers have already taken this in. There is a railway beside us, so we've got to go up this thing called Jacob's Ladder. Why is it called Jacob's Ladder?
There's quite a lot of bridges that are called Jacob's Ladder or pathways,
right?
Steep pathways.
Well, here's a train, look. Yeah. Just to show you that we're recording this live and this isn't actually in a studio. Let's go over. I'm going to turn the camera around so we get a good view of Jacob's Ladder, because I think people will find that quite curious.
Yes. Come
on in, Lola.
Up. That's it. You show us the way.
So we're crossing this Jacob's Ladder, which I just thought that was a local landmark called Jacob's Ladder. So that's news to me. They're common. Is that a common name?
Well, it's not totally unknown for places. Come on then.
Come on, Lola.
Just a little bit more. That's
so
lovely.
Here we are on the top,
good view.
And you can see down there the train. Well, you probably can't see it because it's such a wide-angle lens. It'll be a dot.
That's Worthing Station.
Down to Worthing Station, and we just come down the other side. So the reason that we're looking at the Twitten is because these old pathways, everywhere has them. I mean, they were rights of way, weren't they? They
were rights of way for the villagers or the parishioners to cross the lands which they didn't own, to get to the church, or originally it was to get to the church.
Or to make their way, because I guess there were very few paths. I mean, the fact that we are walking through these narrow pathways between walls now, in the Saxon and Norman period, they would be open, wouldn't they?
Yes, there would have been open fields on both sides, and in fact it was open here until the middle end of the 19th century.
Right. So we've got to cross. So we've come out of effectively a Twitten, although the path crosses this road.
Yes.
And then there's another one to go up. Let's have a look at that. So this is much longer, and you can see as people are actually still using them to get around and avoiding the main path. They're sort of like shortcuts these days.
There are shortcuts, yes. Because most people go to church. Those that do probably go in the car if it's that far.
Yes, but they're not being used by churchgoers these days. I mean, for any purpose.
For any purpose, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Move over, Lola.
Come on, Lola. But these wouldn't have been drove roads, would they? Because drove roads were for sheep and animals, where farmers...
Cattle and pigs, yes.
Yes. So these are literally just footpaths.
Just for people, yes.
Just for people, and that's why they're so narrow.
Yes, there was it's just as wide as they needed to be to accommodate people.
So these are used by the villagers in open land, which they're not being maintained, but presumably because people are constantly crossing the land. I mean, we see houses now and the roads, because all that wouldn't have been here.
That's right, yes. I mean, it was literally fields. There may have been field systems, the feudal strip system.
Right.
And this would cut through the middle.
And it was a public right of way.
And it by common law originally, it became a public right of way.
Right.
So
what is common law as opposed to, shall we say, legislative law?
Well, common law is what is accepted as the law without it having gone through Parliament.
Right.
As we have today.
And the lords of the manor back in the sort of early times, they would have accepted that, would they?
Most of the time they would accept it. If they tried to block it up, then the people would get upset and go to at the end of.
So who would they go to if the Lord of the Manor blocks them up? They're kind of stuffed, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the process, they would go to the king.
Right. I wonder if how many ever had the guts or the gall to do that.
Or the money.
Or indeed the money. So we've just come through another one here. Let's turn the camera around so you get another view. And you can see we're going to cross another road, and this little Twittens, this pathway, this passage, goes up between the houses. Now presumably when the houses are all put in, these pathways, still protected, had to be accommodated.
They had to build around them, that's right.
Yeah, and
to allow for them.
And Worthing has quite a lot.
Quite a number, yes. When you look.
You look on the map.
There's lots of, on the map we were looking at, there's a lot of red lines somebody's marked on there to show them.
Right. Oh, okay. I thought that was you that had marked them out. Okay. So that's very interesting. Now, of course, across the country, they're not all called Twittens. That's just the Sussex name. I know in Shrewsbury, where I've been recently, they're called, well, in the town, the little back passages and the sort of quick routes are called shuts. And there's, like most things, there's reasons why it's called shuts, but it's all a bit vague. There'll be a video and you can check out the shuts of Shrewsbury which cut through the town. These are much more rural ones, and I would be interested if viewers could tell me the names of their passages, and if there's a collective name like Twittens for passages all around the country. Do you know of any others?
Not really, no.
No.
Yes. So we're now in Twittens Way. When they built this section,
oh right,
they built it on the line, or the footpath on the right hand side. They built on the line of the footpath.
Right.
And,
so this is Twittens Way.
And we call it Twittens Way.
So in one way, the name does live on.
Yes.
So how far are we now from the church? Coming up towards the end of our video.
Yeah, not too far.
Oh.
I'm not totally exhausted yet.
Right, okay. Well, if you flag, I'll leave you dropping.
Oh, thank you.
Drooping. Brilliant. So this goes up to the Tarring Church. I've done a video on Tarring, so do check that out. There's not much more to say about Twittens, is there?
No, just look out for...
Look out for them on the maps if ever you come to Worthing.
That's right, you won't necessarily see them called Twittens, but
that's what
not every footpath
is a Twittens.
So
how do you know which is which? Looking on old maps, I suppose.
The old maps, and local usage as much as anything.
Yeah. So the key thing is to think about when you're going down some of these back passages. Some of them have been there for so long that you can think about all the different types of people that have trodden down that passage, and in its own way, it leaves a footprint of history. So on that note, I'm going to leave my footprint of history with young Martin and little Lola, who is on the ground behind us, and say thank you so much for watching. We'll no doubt be again looking at quirky bits of history. And until then, don't forget to subscribe, check out my Patreon page, and leave a comment. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Thank you, Martin.
Okay, thank you.
You're going to leave me stranded again, aren't you?
Yeah, find your own way.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
very
sure,
much.
I'm sure Lola knows.
Lola, yeah, she'll know. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.